Oh, shoot. I'm just sitting here. I'm just sitting there muted the whole time. All right. Well, that was an awesome intro, right? Yeah. Yeah, about that. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. Thank you, Maya. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, it's been interesting. I've watched a lot of people, they continue to be upset about things. Not going directly up and to the right. I would say they're moving as intended. I'm kind of looking at a few things here, and we'll talk about them tonight with going over all the CAs. Don't worry, we'll get to all the CAs. All of you will get your CAs. But we'll talk about market conditions a little bit at the beginning, if that's okay with everybody, and then we'll get into CAs because I think market conditions are kind of important. Yeah, profits she'll be running it back up. I've been talking to her past couple days. I think I don't want you guys to hold her to a date, so I'm not going to tell you. But we're talking about streaming someday this week, so likely it'll happen soon. But she'll be in here. Let's see. How's it going, man? How's it going, Marty? More in depth with volume and RSI and how they relate. Yeah. We could talk a little bit about RSI, TA, all that stuff like that. Volume. Talk to the switch. Bro, there's a lot of them. But here's the thing. Like, I'll show you. Swag still looks fine. It kind of moved really quick, and it makes sense that it kind of pulled back a little bit. But it still looks fine from a chart perspective. It's not at all like in any trouble, in my opinion. Although we will talk about market conditions a little bit because there's a little bit of neutral play here. Pepe's signaling a little something here. We need a breakout here. If we don't get a breakout on Pepe, likely it's back to the gulags or the lows. Again, just a range, right? We've identified the range, and you either play high or play low. And if you're like, oh, I need a TP to buy back down low, it's like, go for it. But like, if you already got in cheap, just wait for the swing move, right? Just wait for the swing. Don't stop trying to range trade. Range trading is really not the best way to play this. I get it though. I get it. Some people, they really want to stack this cycle, but it's less safe to range trade than it is to look for your swings and take profit in your swings. We're gonna move into some charts here. We'll start a little bit with the Bitty coin. Bitcoin's looking a little interesting here. So I'm sure James went as long because Bitcoin's looking short. Funny enough. No, I'm just messing. But we are seeing a little bit of hesitation here, a little bit of drawdown. Could see some kind of like little pullback a little bit. Likely, if you get a big pullback, it'll be something like 111. Nothing huge. As far as Bitcoin goes, it's very little drawdown. You're looking at like 5%, roughly, give or take, which really isn't much when you're talking about volatility. So just want to kind of introduce that as a part of the conversation. You're either going to roll and then run, or, you're just going to run. So it's going to be one of the two. But, the expectation was always to move into August as just kind of your bigger mover. Right now, you're just kind of positioning in the current ranges that you have with coins. And then once you get some kind of real big move, you'll see those coins kind of get that swing too. And that's when you should be looking to kind of TP a lot of this stuff. What's the difference between a swing move and a range move? Yeah, sure. I'll show you a difference. So a range move is kind of like trading in the chop, right? So this is like chop. So you're trading in this chop rather than buying through the chop and then getting your swing and then TPing, right? This is a swing. That's a swing. So you're looking for basically a move out of the current consolidation range into the next range up. And if you're expecting upside, this right here is what a swing would do. If you're expecting downside, then the swing would just put you significantly lower, right? So right here, you have a drawdown, and then you have this move back up, right? This is a consolidation range to the upside, bear flag, and then you get a swing down. And you can see swings move really quickly, just like that, right? Monthly is a better time frame to kind of show you what that looks like, because then you could really get a grasp on the consolidation versus the swing, right? Consolidation versus the swing. And then again, you're getting just basically consolidation, and we're looking for the swing, but you could likely get a pullback to the range before you get a swing. So that's always a possibility too. Hopefully this market has kind of front run that August low, because we did kind of bottom out here and we've been kind of trending to the up and to the right. So the market overall is looking pretty bullish from the standpoint of Bitcoin. We're still kind of above the high here by quite a bit, and we're not really pressuring below the resistance level. So because we're poking through it, once we get the close out here, keep in mind we're not too far from the monthly close. On which part do you want me to go more in depth on? Do you want me to go more in depth on the swing, or more in depth on the chop range, or more in depth on the current structure? Or go ahead and I'll wait for you to go ahead and write that in there, and then but I'm going to continue till you get that in there. So basically this right here is consolidation, right? So this is price goes up, price goes down, price goes up, price goes down, price goes up, price goes down, and then price breaks away, right? That breakaway is a swing. And then you get a new range, right? So this is your new range, and your new range should end above your previous range. So once you hit a high, you'll see 1, 2, 3 months, you hit the same high. That's kind of your, your indication that this is the high end of the range, because you had rejection at the same range for almost a solid 3 months here. You had the breakout right here, which is basically where Bitcoin came up, right? And then you just kind of traded high, and then you traded back a little bit lower, telling you we're going to likely roll, push down into the low, push back up off the trend, and then push back up. Now the bull trend here, right, is really what you have to look at. Like, you can't be bearish on this. Like, there's no possibility in my mind, right? I'll just say in my mind, because I guess some people could be bearish, but I don't know how or why. But you have a solid uptrend with no real breaks below trend, right? So you have to look at this as a continuation move until this overall bull trend is pretty much messed up, right? Once you get below this bull trend, yeah, you could say, okay, we broke the bull trend, we're starting to roll, and then you'll likely come down. That's essentially what ETH did, right? ETH kind of broke the bull trend, and you can see here Casper rejected hard on the Casper Bitcoin pair. But we come back over here to Ethereum real quick, and we're gonna get into tickers, guys. We're gonna get into tickers. I'll get out of the boring stuff here in a minute, but some people want to kind of understand it. But here's Ethereum, for instance, right? So your bull trend was this way, right? And then what you did is the second you broke bull trend, you see right here, you dropped down, you retested, and then you rolled. And that's how you know you're going to go deeper. And now you push back up and you flip back above the trend. Now, a lot of people are looking at this as bearish. The reality is like you're pressing into that final month. Again, just typical bottoming month, right? Typical bottoming month, typical bottoming month. Why am I saying typical bottoming month? Because if you take it on the monthly, this right here was your low before the breakout, right? This right here was your low before the breakout. So you've got basically August, you got August, and right here's August. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to do all this in August, right? So I think like if you're going to get a pullback, likely it'll be back to range, right? You're going to retest your trend range, and then you should hold that trend range and shoot up from there. And then you should, once you break this high, you could start getting big moves up, right, for Ethereum. And that's all we're really looking for here. A lot of people are looking at this, and you can see it here on the monthly as this, right? They're like, oh, Ethereum's capped. It's back below the previous highs. It's likely going to roll from here, yada, yada. And if it does, that'll be really bad, right? Like, but here's the thing, too, that a lot of people aren't really looking at. This is more like a kind of a megaphone pattern. So we got price stopping out at the same high. We got price moving down to the lower lows all the way down. And then we've also got, in addition to that, we're pushing back above the 50 on strength. So you have enough indicators to tell you that you should be strong enough to push higher versus roll back under, right? You already rolled under here, and that was your low. And this same low you're seeing right here is the same low we bottomed out, by the way, on Ethereum right here. So when Ethereum bottomed at its lowest price point, this was the strength level Ethereum was at. And then it consolidated that range. You can see it right here. And now you've got Ethereum essentially retesting that same strength range, using it as a position to bounce, which was this candle right here, and push back up. So you should really be expecting Ethereum to continue pushing higher. You shouldn't be looking at this as some kind of bearish indication. Now, a lot of people will also look at this, right, on the monthly, and they'll be like, well, you're still below the monthly. That's just because we haven't broken out of the range yet. We'll likely won't gain enough strength until we break out of this high, until we break above this resistance and hold. That's when we'll get above this. But we're tightening enough in this range. And you can see it all the way across. Look, you know what the funny part is? That's not the only place. Look, all the way back here. Bottom, see it? Bottom, bottom. And then you see Ethereum do this big run, right? Bottom, bottom. And then you see Ethereum do this run. And now, once again, you've retested this low, and it should ideally be a bottom, right? And now you should see Ethereum push up more. So we've kind of retested this high multiple times. So really, we should be looking for a breakout. You only test the high so many times before you get a breakout. And that's the way you should be looking at this. You shouldn't be looking at this as bearish. It's, really big God candles pushing in. And you can typically see once Ethereum starts getting on this roll where it starts God candling, even if you get a slight pullback, it's just continuation move after continuation move. So it's looking really good here. Here it was a little struggly, as you can see right there. We had really low vol, wasn't a lot of movement, and then we got the big move up, and then we started struggling again. Well, in that same instance, we now have the open. If we get a hesitation candle over here and we kind of hesitate up here, right, in this general area, yeah, likely we can get a roll from there if that ends up happening. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Not only did you have the indicator of the bottoming right here, again, just point them all out, right? Not only did you have that, you also had vol ramp, right? So you had volume ramping into that low too. So when you get vol ramp into a low, it's typically indication of a reversal. We got the reversal, move back up, and we were good to go. So that's basically what happened with ETH. Why are we talking about ETH? It affects altcoins, right? That's why we're talking about ETH specifically. So if we get any type of invalidation, this would be kind of where that would be. That would just be a break back below trend, right? You get a break back below trend, you can start worrying. But right now, where are we holding? We're still holding above trend. We were able to break through it with force. We were able to hold above it. As long as we can hold this trend pushing up, we can get it. We can get a move out and up. So overall, nothing to be too scared about at the moment. Unless we break trend, then we could talk about downside, right? We're not talking about downside until the market tells us to talk about downside. We're not in that position yet. Bitcoin's kind of in a similar pattern. Bitcoin's, pulled back a little bit out this high, but it's nothing huge. We're still well above, all of your highs here. We're still well above these highs as far as body candles go. So your resistance here was roughly around 111, 112. So now you're sitting here at 117 and everybody's saying it's cooked. If we get back below these levels, yes, it can get cooked, but you have to get back below these levels before you can say that it's invalidated at that point. If ETH breaks its high, it's going to go, in my opinion. I have no doubt that once Ethereum can get through this high up here, right, really, ideally, we want to hit these highs, right, the 4,800. But you're probably going to go at the 4,800, get some kind of chop, and then maybe shoot up again, right? But this will be like your blow off top scenario. So you're going to push up. You're going to kind of hang out. This is where things will get really kind of wild. And then things will get really wild up here. And then they take it all away. That's basically how this will work. But that's my thoughts overall. Like I said, and if you look at the, again, just the weekly's a strong indicator too. If you take these highs on the weekly, you got a lot of room above you as far as your trend here goes. So you could push up quite a bit here on ETH before you end up getting any type of hesitation from the way I'm seeing it. And again, just, same indicators as before. Your bottoming structure, again, bottom of the market. You can see here on the weekly, it's actually even better because you don't get all this stuff like you get on the monthly, right? You just get your bottom here, which was the bottom of each market. Look, bottom of market, RSI bottom. And then once again, you end up in RSI bottom on this pullback. And now you're kind of shifting away from that. You should see significant upside off of this bottom. We did all this from this bottom. We should be able to do a lot more from this bottom, essentially. That's the way I would look at this overall. I know there's a lot of yapping, but I feel like that context is kind of needed because people aren't understanding chop ranges. They're not understanding why their altcoin pulled back 40%, 60%, because a lot of your altcoins don't have liquidity. So, of course, they're going to do those kind of things. You're playing in a range, right? You just want to buy the bottom of those ranges. That's what you want to look for. You want to identify the lows of the ranges, buy the lows of the ranges, wait for the swing, right? Wait for the swing. Like this is basically Ethereum consolidation, swing, right? And you're looking to catch this because this is way more gains than trying to play that chop. That's how you get wrecked. Same thing here with Pepe, like another oscillator for risk, right? I usually use it as an oscillator for risk. You have vol drop into, ideally a range where you're holding. So when you have vol drop like this, you should expect vol ramp, right? When I say vol, I'm talking about volume. So are also like that. Yeah, for sure. Hey, I'm in them too, bro. I'm in the altcoins too. But yeah, so you should eventually get, from vol drop to vol ramp is what we should see. So with that being said, we're kind of looking at this thing kind of bottoming out on volume. You can see right here, here's the volume spike, here's the volume spike, and now volume spike is going to be nearly dead, right? So you go from large volume spike, that's what causes your swing, into low volume spike, right? Causes another swing, into small volume spike, which did cause a swing, but not a big one, into, ideally what we'll see is ramping of volume. And not only ramping of volume, RSI should also ideally continue pushing this way, right? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for RSI to follow suit with market conditions. And if we can get those two to kind of play ball, we're looking good, right? We're looking good. So no real trend there, but I would say there's one here. Why do I say that? Because your trend actually goes up. So we should be, if we're going to use this, we should be flat all the way across. So ideally we hold this trend moving upwards and we continue to push towards this high on strength. And if strength continues to push up, what we'll see, we could see a pullback before we see a breakout. Could see it. Do I care? No, because where did I buy? Here. So it doesn't really bother me if we do pull back. But if we do see some kind of pullback, we catch the pullback and then we run. Because if strength continues pushing up with a pullback coming in, you're basically going to launch. And not only do you have that, you also got vol drop, which should turn into vol spike. And vol spike means swing, right? That's what vol spike means. So when you get into a vol drop, and you can see it right here too, look. When you get into a vol drop, what does that first swing give you? It's usually the biggest gains. First swing, biggest gains. TP first swing, right? You can wait for second, third, whatever, but like you're just not going to get the same gains. And you can see here with Pepe, if you take that first swing, that's a 20x play. That's it. Don't hold your 20x's, your 100x's, your 50x's. If you get them, take profit. So don't be that. I'm telling you this, for somebody, who could. The thing is like you could easily take advantage of people in these markets. It's very easy. You could tell them to hold forever, never sell, yada yada. But if you give them an intelligent way to enter and an intelligent way to exit, people remember that more than if you championed a meme coin that eventually will destroy their entire portfolio at some point. So I just try to give people realistic expectations with moves. So we're holding for swings, and then once you get the swing, then you can kind of start TPing off that. Yeah, learn to take profit. Yeah. Somebody else was bringing Andy. Oh man, it could be 4 weeks. Hey, I mean, look at this right here. This all happened basically in 2 weeks. You got your swing in 2 week in a 2 week move. And if you weren't able to identify it, you got a little bit more time to get out, and then it was over, right? And then it was over. So you just got to be kind of cautious about that. Don't get caught. Yeah, the next move is going to be a big move, but you gotta be smarter than the market. And I use Pepe as kind of like an oscillator to show you guys kind of like what risk, healthy risk should look like. And when I say healthy risk, I don't even know if I can name it that because it's a meme coin. But what I mean by that is like the way the money flows in here, it flows very similarly to a fundamental coin. That's the funny part. This doesn't even act like a meme anymore. It's very institutionalized. If you look here, you got your low, you got your breakout, you got your new consolidation range. You're gonna look for a breakout. You're gonna look for a new consolidation range, and likely you want to know the funny part. I'll call it here and now, and I'll probably get blasted for it later. We got 1, we got 2. What do you think happens on 3? What do you think happens on 3? What part of the cycle are we in? Are we in the 3rd year, 2nd year, 4th year? What part of the cycle are we in? Yeah, I'll think about that. All right. After 3 comes what? Reset. 4-year cycles. So believe it or don't believe it, whatever you want. If you believe we're going to go into some kind of super cycle, that's fine. But I would tell you, be cautious about that thought process. So yeah, that's my thoughts on this. I don't want to linger on it too long. I know you guys came for the sauce, the meme coin sauce. So we'll talk about those. And I got some fundamentals today too, so I can't really complain too much. No stock picks. Nobody likes stocks. Nobody likes stocks. It's very interesting. But yeah, so we'll get into. Let's move that out of the way. All right. And then we'll get into some of these plays real quick. Actually, let me open that up there. I have too many screens on here. Way too many screens. I was just eyeballing this today. You know what's funny? Yeah, we can look at Rivian. I DM'd easy, and I'm like, hey, this looks like it might actually bounce out of this range because you're pretty much bottomed. And that was like up here. And now we're up. The RSI is, I don't know if this reverse. At some point, here's the one thing I would tell you guys. At some point, Elon is going to wreck all the shorts. Right? It's going to happen. And he's likely going to be on the other side of the trade when he does it. So if you're short trading this, keep that in mind. All right? Keep that in mind. At some point, he's going to reverse this on you. It's going to happen. But I don't know when that point happens, right? Maybe I end up wrong. Maybe this thing just goes straight to zero and just absolutely obliterates exchanges for the payouts. But I can't see exchanges and stuff just continuing to pay out all that money for these shorts that just stay short the whole time because it doesn't turn around. Let's see here. We're going to start down the list now. Let me get over here real quick. Give me just a second. I'm just opening so I could see if anybody throws CAs in here. But first, I'm going to start with the CAs that we have on the list. From the people who came in and supported me this morning, gave me the likes and the retweets and the bookmarks. I really appreciate it, by the way. Thank you, everybody who continuously shows up and shows love. I appreciate that very much. So let's see. TX for shade, of course. All right, first CA. We're going to go Keck EC. And they dropped the CA. That's what a legend. Barry is a legend. All right. So we'll run that. I remember this one, bro. Oh, man. I don't think I ever bought this. I feel like this was renamed. Am I wrong? Let's see. You kind of got to shift away there. I mean, you could be doing one of these, right? Just ramp, drop, ramp, drop, ramp, drop, ramp, drop until you go. You can see right here, just came back down to reset and ran. Let's see RSI real quick. Ooh, daily looks kind of trash. Let me see if there's a weekly on this. Okay. You were in a death spiral, right? You were in a death spiral, even though chart was moving up. Interesting. Now you're above the 50, pulling back to the 50. I mean, here's the thing. If you could hold the 50 here, you're good. But if you break that 50, look out below, because it's coming all the way back down on strength, and you're coming all the way back down on price. At least the trend, right? That's the way I'd look at this. So that's my thoughts on this one, man. Like, again, anything that looks like this, it's a hard sell to me, man, because like, even though you get the possible reversal, these things could always just be one of these, right? And come right back down the trend. So like, once you start getting this, that's just so much sell side to buy side. Let me see the CA real quick. Come over here, throw it up. High liquidity pool 1.1. It's always these heavy liquidity plays, man. These are the ones that really die the worst. Let me see. Dark blue. Just drop it on the weekly. I mean, when I look at buy to sell pressure on the 24-hour, you got good buy side to sell side. So that's not bad. This is definitely not that bad, right? Your top 10, your 11, or your 20 and your 40. These you have a decent spread here. So that's not bad either. Yeah, I mean, RSI doesn't look in favor of the chart. But the other stuff looks okay, right? Distribution looks good. You got good holder count rising over time. Holders are kind of dying down a little bit, but that could just, you could read that as like an RSI or whatever. If volume goes up, volume comes down. You got really big volume ramps here, drawdown, right? Really big volume, drawdown, really big volume. And really over here, like this is interesting. So see volume right here, you're actually starting to ramp up on volume. So that might not be a bad thing. So maybe you're looking for like a hard swing. Just TP that shit, because it's like you're gonna bet if you catch a hard swing, right? So I mean, because this chart looks like they've done this multiple times. Pump, dump, right? Pump, dump, pump, dump. And likely it's going to be the same result over here. Pump and dump. That would be my thoughts with this one. All right. Moving on to the next one. And I'll get to the chat here in just a minute. I want to get to the guys and girls that posted this morning. Make sure that I'm supporting those who are, being consistent with me at the same time. And then I'll get to the chat too. I appreciate all you guys that show up here too. 600. What is this? 605.39. All right. This is the problem with Billy. I don't know which Billy. All right. I don't know which Billy. So if you have a Billy in mind, send me the Billy in mind. All these Billies look low lick. What is it? 623. Am I wrong? Is that 623,000? Or is that $623.81? Oh, this is definitely a rug. Yeah, this is the wrong one. Look at that shit. This is why you need this. This is why you need this, because you can tell the rugs from the non-rugs. Billy the cat is Rune. Do they have Billy on here though? Maybe they meant this Billy though. Right? Maybe they meant this little dog Billy. That's probably what they meant. Big lick right there. Big liquidity pool. 1.4. Yeah, we got the 1.4 now. That should be the longest liquidity pool. Yeah, if it's a rune, likely it doesn't have a chart. So I cannot help you there. Well, I could go on to the rune site and use their stuff, but yeah. If it's this Billy, we'll take a look. Volume looks smoked on this thing, though. You had a vol, you tried to ramp, you came right back down. Base mascot? I mean, Sin CA, man. Sin CA. Right now we're going with Billy the dog. All right, let's see. There's too many Billies. No more Billies unless you send CA. All right. We're gonna go Retardio. Because I'm not gonna evaluate it if I don't know what it is. 313, 140. Is 140 the biggest liquidity pool? 35. Come on, I know there was a big lick for this one for a while. Right there, there it is. 1.8 million. Why is it not at the top? Okay, nice little move here. Let's see. Done on the weekly, daily, weekly. All right, buy, sell. Sell's a little heavier on this one. Spread looks good. I like the spread. It's not too concentrated. Good moves here. A little bit of pullback on wallets. Not too bad. Transactions are kind of meh. Let's see here. Chart went this way, then fell over. Now it's starting to find some legs again. But does strength match the chart? Let's check it out. You are almost there. You are almost there, but you could definitely swing fail here. I will say that. You could definitely swing fail here. Flip the 50 first. Flip the 50 first. Flip the 50. Then you can start kind of playing with this. Regardless of price, don't think about price. Think about strength. Strength sets in, you're good to go. And then fart coin. I assume that's regular fart coin. So we'll run that real quick. I swear I get this coin every day. I have to open this coin every single day. 25.1 mil. There we go. All right. Let's do weekly here. So we went from this to this. And you could come back into this, by the way. Vol was really heavy here. Vol ramped down hard, and then Vol is continuing to drop. Likely you're going to get a swing high, and then a rejection, pullback, and then you could probably pull an SPX. So thoughts are, I don't know how many different ways I've looked at this, but we'll run it. It's fine. Thoughts are like something like this, into that, right? That would be the good old SPX move, the 6,900. That I think you're going to get a swing based on volume death here. But let's check the RSI real quick and see if it matches. Yeah, RSI matches. So yeah, I think that's possible to catch it from here. The problem is for me is like this can run two different ways. RSI is looking good, but RSI could definitely come all the way back to 50 and still you got a bullish structure. But that could completely wreck the coin if it does do that, right? And it'll look really bad, but I would think it's down to the right if it does, and then you'll get a swing out later. So this is a hard one right here. You're kind of already in motion. It's not something I would buy into right now because the motion's already moving. But you know, if you get a low move where it starts to trickle down, maybe it's a bid. You get the swing high, look to TP, let it run back, and then exit. I don't think that this thing's gonna just go like this. Like this coin has a lot of liquidity. It's gonna likely start rejecting right around here if they push it up. That would be my thoughts. Am I long on anything right now? I'm just market neutral right now. I'm not super long. Like I'm not taking risk on I'm not taking sorry, I'm laughing at a comment. I'm not taking risk on leverage right now. I think you're leverage trading chop right now if you're trying to leverage trade. And if you leverage trade chop, that's the best way to get messed up when you're trying to play these markets at the moment. I think we talked about this literally the other day. Good spread, by the way. 4.5 mil. Weekly. Wallets are pretty steady, by the way, on this one, so it's not bad. Again, the same thing as the other one. You ran up, broke trend, came back down. Now you're kind of trying to regain ground. So let's see. Vol's dead. That's good. That's a lot of volume right there. Holy shit. I'd say Vol's kind of like this. Eventually, you're going to get a Vol ramp. So if Vol dies into ramping, especially a coin that has motion like this. Let's check RSI real quick and see what that looks like. Above the 50. Yeah, so again, like remember the other one that I showed you that wasn't above the 50? And I said if you get above the 50, you're good. This one's above the 50. So as long as it can hold above the 50, this is a good top coin. Can definitely move up, which means if you get pullbacks, you could take pullbacks as bids as long as you remain above the 50. All right. I just didn't want to give you the day. Oh, you were number this guy. Oh, shoot. All right. Here's another CA I was given. Let me see. Liquidity is not bad. Okay. 1 year old. That's good. All right. So double win. This one's called Anyone. I was going to say, I hope that's not the weekly because I would not be buying that. That was a big ramp on the hourly. Oh my God, it looks horrendous, bro. Oh man, I hope the RSI is not moving that direction too. Let's check. If RSI is moving the other way, this is looking good, but I don't know. That's a tough one. You're above the 50. I'll give you that, right? You're above the 50. That's a heavy expansion up. If you fall back below, you're going to get cooked here because you're going to run all the way back down to this trend right here, which is a lower low, by the way. So this one's a tough one, right? That's the way I would take this. Definitely not going to be an easy cook on this one. I'd say if you got to here, man, I don't know if I'd want to play with this chart too much. To me, like this thing looks like this. I'll just show you. If it's going to turn around, it's going to take a while, right? You're going to move this direction for quite some time and then reverse back up. And then because you're going to have to round out of this. It's the only option. You can see where they're trying to reverse course here. It's not going to happen in one go. They're going to have to round out and maybe consolidate sideways before they get some kind of move back up. And really, if we go into a bear market, this thing's not going anywhere. That's a toughie. Vine was the next one. So we'll run that one real quick. All right. You know what I need? I need to start listing the tokens I run through on these streams and add them to the repost. So that way people can see what was covered. Let's go weekly here. God, this is such a horrendous chart, man. This has to be the biggest liquidity pool, right? Am I wrong? I know Vine's got quite a few. Let's see. $5,115. 4.6 mil. God, there's so many liquidity pools on this thing. All right, that's the only $1 million liquidity pool. So we're gonna run with that one. All right, here's Vine. Let me see Twitter to make sure. Yeah, I think that's the right one. All right. Spreads kind of it's not bad. That's about normal with a lot of big liquidity coins. Top 10 though, jeez man, they got a lot. I'd rather the spread be a little more even here, but it's fine. RSI, front strength. I mean, here's the thing with Vine. Like, even though you have movement, right? And you had that announcement today, you still got to kind of get out of this death spiral that you're in right now. You're still like way below strength levels that you should be at. I'd say if you start breaking above the 30 here, you're looking pretty good. Wallets are pretty steady. You're like up and down month to month. You really had a bottoming out kind of like right over here, right around the 8th. But wallets have been pretty steady this month. And slowly, gradually picking up. So that's pretty interesting. You just don't have a lot to go with on the RSI side. And same with volume, man. Like even if vol is ramping down still. See it right there? I have to like pull that over because the vol here was so crazy on this one candle. Man, I don't know. Like, and then like look at your holder count. That's insane. Like I don't even know. Like I know there's a lot of people who want to be bullish on this, and maybe you're trapped. I don't know, but like this is that's a hard one, man. That is a hard one. I'll just say it like that. And you got rejection in the same range too, which is really the really bad part. You should have been able to like capture price and hold, and yeah, it's not looking good. Let's see. We'll see. We'll watch this over the coming weeks. If we can get back into this upper range on RSI, maybe this thing will start moving. But so far, it just looks like swing up, swing down, swing up, likely swing down. Let's see. DUB. Sorry, I'm just running through the comments real quick. Make sure I grab everything. Lola, Monkey, Rivian. Oh, we got a Rivian. Nice. Okay. Oh, we got some bonk plays. Okay. Let's run the bonk plays then. What are we sitting at? Good liquidity pool. Okay, that's good. 456K. That's a pretty fat stacked liquidity pool. Let's check it out. This thing better not be mooning, man. All right. I'm gonna tell you, Spence. How did I know? How did I know? Oh man. Wouldn't chase this. Would not chase this. Vol drop. You're likely to continue to drop. You're gonna this is likely your breakout candle that you should be selling into, to be honest with you. Likely this thing is gonna come back down and fill before it goes back up. So that's my thoughts on that part. Let's check wallets. It's all right. It's not bad. Wallets are continuing to gradually move up. Not bad. Let's run RSI. No RSI. All right. Let's run daily RSI. Overextended hard. So yeah, this just confirms what I said basically. This confirms that likely you're way overheated on this thing. And it's gonna it's gonna have a big drop off, in my opinion. Like there's gonna be a big seller up here. It's gonna drop this thing hard, and then you'll get some kind of buy up. You can try to catch that bottom, but it's kind of like catching a knife. But sometimes you can catch these bottoms and catch the swing and get out on the swing. Don't expect the full move all the way up. Usually it rechases 50 to 75% back up, and then it rolls again, right? So you gotta let it drop, catch a swing, sell it, and then let it drop again. And I wouldn't re-enter a third time after that. I would just stick to that. Let's see here. Monkey. I think this is coming down now. Fairly new chart, though. $161K. Okay. Above 100. That's fine. Let's. I don't know why it keeps putting it on the hour on default, man. Yeesh, bro. It's like a month old. I don't even think I could run an RSI on this on the daily. Okay, I can. Yeah, it's shot. No go. No bueno. RSI is rolling. This thing's going to likely just keep trickling down. And you got to hit this 50 before you're even going to stop bleeding here. Okay. All right. Monkey, 299K. Wallet's picking up. Nice. Good spread. Please tell me it has some time on it. Weekly. No, it doesn't. All right. So we'll put on the daily. We'll try and find an RSI if we can. Nope, it's cooked. What are these? All these are cooked. What's going on here? Yeah, it's rolling down. This thing's gonna likely just keep trickling down. You're not this will get filled, but this will get filled way later. Something like that. So if you could set in it, it's fine. But like you're not gonna set in it, then yeah, this ain't worth your time. And likely you'll need the RSI to kind of confirm that. It'll have to bounce at the 50 and start trending the other way. But if you can catch it like really low, that's 2,200%. Could be a nice little move. All right, I'm gonna run these tickers, and then I'll run stocks after I finish all your tickers. Jarvis, I looked at this. Somebody mentioned this to me. I think it's way too new, actually. Yeah, see, it's only like 5-6 days old. I don't think you can run an RSI on this, man. I don't buy stuff that's this new. I typically just kind of let it sit and let it settle, and I'll wait for an RSI to start trickling in on the daily, weekly, and then I'll start looking at it and evaluating it. You got volume drop though, so like this thing's just gonna roll over. Let's see, TBC. Yeah, I like this one. This one's actually been holding up pretty well. I gave this to the subs. This one's been holding up pretty well. Surprisingly. I do think it's going to come down, but I think it's, you see this big God candle. We're going to likely fill some of that, which we're already starting to do. But it's twapping up pretty nicely. You kind of had even vol up here. And then you're getting vol ramp, right? So volume ramp into price ramp. Let's check RSI on it real quick. RSI moving up. Yeah, this one looks really good. This one looks really good. This is why I gave it to the subs. So you got nice movement up here. So this thing could sit here and chop sideways, but likely it's gonna. I think this one's got a big move coming. I wouldn't chase. Like let this thing pull back a little bit more before entry, but this chart looks pretty good. That better not be a stable coin you just sent me. Hold on. All right, it's the fake USDC. Got it. All right. Let's see here. 3K, 270 is 270 the big pool. 746. All right. All right. So likely that one. All right. Daily. Nice little trend going on there. Again, building long to go short. Just remember that. You did kind of have your spike here, so you might not get another spike. You have the death spiral going on, and you're sitting right underneath the 50. No go. No go on this one. So death spiral under the 50. No go. All right. I feel like I'm flying through these, and I'm being pretty fair. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if you guys think I'm not being fair to these charts or not, but I think I'm being pretty fair. 2.9 mil. All right. This honestly looks like this, but that's also only the hourly. $15 minutes on each take. I'm not spending that long. Not enough time really on this one. Actually, no, it's a weekly. Hold on. Still not enough time, man. Guys, give me like 2 months or more. Okay, 2 months or more. This stuff is oh, this one. Oh, brother, what is this? What is this? Oof. You can put them here. You can put them here. Satuka. Just drop them in. Yeah, that spread is no bueno. I don't even know. This might be a real utility coin, but yeah, I don't know about that, man. They hold like 90% of the supply. Let me see the RSI real quick. I'll look at that. I'll give you that much. I'll give you this much. I wouldn't buy this. Way overextended up here. Even if they can push it up, nah. No. RSI way high. This thing's gonna come down. And you do have that spiral coming into play. You see it right there. You can put them here or X, whichever one. Doesn't matter. All right, so that's all of those tickers. I'm gonna run your hold on. One more. And I'm gonna run Rivian real quick for you. Kid. It's better have some time on it, man. It's better have some time on it. Daily. I think I talked about this one. I don't think it's good. I think it's cooked. Yeah, you got death spiral going on. You can flip on this 50, but it's like it's not worth the risk. Like your strength is dwindling, right? And you got vol drop over here on this side, right? So you got vol drop on this side. You could say there's going to be a vol spike at some point, but like where does that spike happen? Does it happen after you drop all the way down here and you get a spike and then you come back down further? Or, does it happen where it's at right now and you get a bigger spike? I just don't think this is worth holding. Looking at strength here, I would drop that one, man. And then we'll run Rivian real quick. So what I have for Rivian is kind of what I was telling you with that one meme coin. It's like that bowl style. See how you're like kind of rounding out of the low here? That's what you're doing right now with Rivian. You're already building long, right? You're kind of rounding out of the low and you're pushing up. What I'm looking for is a hefty swing up to this $22 mark. So I have call side positions on this to 22, which you can get through any stockbroker. But run calls on this to 22. Give yourself like 3 to 6 months on the calls, and it should be good, right? 3 to 6 month call side positions, run it up 22, good to go. You got a strong RSI indication that this thing's going to reverse. It's been trying to reverse the entire time. See how it came from like basically no interest at all back into interest, and it continues to get more and more strength as it's starting to round out. That more and more strength means, basically the lower you were going, the more and more buy pressure that was being applied. And now you're kind of reversing back out. And likely if this buy pressure continues to go, because of where you're sitting right now, you're so close to the 50 that you could spring load out this 50 at some point, and that should shoot you into this level, right? This is the same thing that brought PLTR into its reversal when I was telling people to buy a PLTR around $13. So if we look at PLTR here, I'll pull it up real fast. And let's see here. Just an example. And look at PLTR today, bro. See, same thing right here. I was showing people like, hey, this is going to reverse right here because it had the little round bottom. And then you had vol ramp. I would likely, and then I showed them kind of like what this would look like. It was very close. Very, very close. Eventually, this thing's going to fall over. But you can see right there, the build is very similar to that right there, right? You had your base 1, base 2, base 3, base 4, and now you're kind of moving into parabolic mode right now. But basically, you had your RSI bottoming right here, and then you started reversing back up right through here, right? And then you got the breakout, which was this move right here. And then after you broke above the 50, remember, I always tell you, don't buy the death spiral, right? Wait for the reversal, because when the reversal comes into play, you can make money, right? Reversal started happening right around here. And then once you broke the 50, which was this candle right here, you could start buying. And then once you broke that 50, you got that real big spike, consolidation range. And then from there, it's been basically up only, right? Now, what I would tell people is that you're hitting 94 right now on the monthly. This is probably a good place to rotate some of that profit you've been making, right, on something like this. But this is what you're looking for with a good stock when you're looking for a good reversal. Now, keep in mind, at the same time, if you took this play, tell me a crypto project that's done that much. You could say, hey, I've seen them, but how many have you been in that have done that much? That's absolutely insane, right? Absolute insanity. It wasn't just this one too. Another one I called too at the low, like the bottom was Carvana, right? That was another one too. So if we take a look at Carvana, we basically had this right here kind of playing out. Now, where did I try to catch it? I tried to catch it on the weekly. See right here? You had drawdown into breakout. So you had breakout strength in the drawdown price telling you there was likely a reversal. And that reversal came into play right through here. Now, keep in mind, we're not even going to take you down here and say you bought down here. We're going to say you waited for price to flip bullish, which was above this white line right here. And you can see I brought this all the way back to here. So if you took this play from this white line all the way up, because we're going to be modest, right? We're going to be modest. That's 3,568% on the stock. It's not bad. It's not bad, man. And I'm always fishing for plays like this. This is always what I'm looking for. I'm honestly I'm looking at Lucid and Rivian both kind of in that same category. You can see right here, look, here's Lucid. See your low. See your low. I'll see you next year and we'll see what this thing's at. It's literally the same thing. It's always the same thing with these stock plays. You just got to find the right positioning for them. And then you can really, and if you're in a long side position, right, you get up to here with like $1,000, $2,000. Like you say you take a year call side position, you could take 1,000 to 100,000 easy, running this all the way back up. Just like with Carvana, right? You could take 1,000 to 100,000. You could take 1,000 to $500,000 in this type of play because of how much it was upside. And Lucid, I'm looking at kind of a similar play. I'm holding a pretty big position in this right now, call side, because I'm looking for the reversal range. Now this could come back down and chop a little bit, but you are seeing drawdown into strength, right? That's really good indication that you're likely looking at a reversal. And again, it's the same time frame weekly over everything. It's the same thing I got with Bitcoin right here, right? So Bitcoin was also signaled on the weekly. Everything typically signals on the weekly, by the way. Maybe I didn't tell you that part at first, but typically you'll see everything signal on the weekly. You can see right here this drawdown into this breakout right here. And again, I always nail these because I always catch them like right below the RSI. That's where they get really hefty. And you see this big strong uptrend and you continue to uptrend while you're playing through here. And then you get the breakout and everybody thought this was fake, but you got above the 50, which means it was never fake. And then from there, you just kind of stayed above the 50 and use that as your range to stay bullish, right? So as long as you remain above the 50, the market's in a bull trend. And not only is the market in a bull trend above the 50, you also got your trend, which is your friend, right? Your trend is your friend, which is the uptrend, which is telling you also stay long. So there was a lot of indications to stay long in this market due to those things specifically, staying above the 50 after breaking above the 50, and then your trend staying bullish the whole time, right? That's basically it. All right, so back to the fun stuff, right? Back to the fun stuff. if he loses 116K, ETH in a few plays will stay strong. Everything. Yeah, of course. Like here's the thing on Chain Hunter. Like all these meme coins we're talking about, if Bitcoin demos, comes back to like, we'll say wicks into like 109, 108, you could definitely see a lot of these coins capitulate in a big way, right? But if you were buying the lows of these coins, like say you were buying through here, you're pretty safe on a lot of these coins. So you're going to come back to entry for sure. You're going to round trip the move, but we're not interested in trading this, right? We're interested in buying the low end range, and then we're interested in catching the swing. That's where we're looking at TP. We're looking at TP the swing. We're not looking at TP the range, right? Everybody wants to be scared because there's a potential for a pullback, and they want to sell here and then catch it down here. Well, what happens if the pullback doesn't come and this range goes and then it goes from there? Now you missed your swing because you were trying to enter exit through the range. Range traders more often than not get wrecked, right? More often than not, they get wrecked. It's very difficult to range trade. If you're going to range trade, I would tell you just scalp. Just take the scalping. Like you're better off scalping than you are range trading, to be honest with you. In profitability wise, you'll probably have a higher probability of profitable trades in a scalp versus a range trading. Range trading is a lot of people getting that. Now, here's the thing. There's probably some people out there that are amazing at range trading, so I won't shit on range trading. But I can tell you, most traders I've seen, they're not good range traders. Most. Now, do I know all the traders in the world? No. So maybe it's just my own little bubble that I pay attention to. But I don't think a lot of people are good at range trading. And because I don't think that, I always tell people, I'm like, look, don't trade the range, trade the breakout. When you get a breakout, you trade it. That's what you look for. So we talked about it with Pepe. We talked about it with a few of these. Like here, we'll use Drip, for example, right? So you weren't looking to range trade this, because if you were looking to range trade this, which direction was this going? It was going up, right? So because you constantly tried to range trade, you had to buy higher every time you tried to buy the low. So did you know exactly where the low was going to land? No, because it took quite a bit of while to establish this trend. But where should you have sold, right? Where should you have sold? You had the range, and then you got the breakout, right? That's where you should have sold. You shouldn't have thought higher. You should have thought, all right, this is 5-10 times the range breakout that we typically saw through here. I need to TP. Now, it doesn't mean you have to fully exit your position either if you don't want to. If you think it can go higher, but you should start TPing once the move starts to shift away from your location, especially in crypto, man. Especially in crypto. And now we've shifted all the way back down, pretty much died. And now we got a little bit of move, right? And everybody's freaking out saying, oh, I'm going to sell here and I'm going to buy here. Well, how are you going to do that if it starts doing this again? How are you going to do that? That's what you have to think about. You have to consider those things, right? If this starts uptrending again, right, and starts range trading to the upside and then gets a breakout, you're never going to catch up. You're never going to catch up. So I'm not interested in trading this. I'm interested in trading this. That's where I'm going to make my money. And do you know what I have to deal with until this comes? I have to deal with volatility until that comes. Do you know what I can do until that comes? Every time I think I'm at the low end range, I can add, and then breakout, out as it's going up. You got to change your mindset. You got to change your mindset as an investor, as a trade. Honestly, like a lot of these are trader type plays, right? That's why I do so well with these, is because just being able to recognize when a market is breaking out and being like, okay, I have enough sell side volume to kind of push sells into the buys. Or sorry, not sell side. I have enough buy side volume to push sells into the buys. So once buy side volume really sets in, then you could push sells into those buys. Not through here, but through here. That's what you're looking for. That's your bread and butter. Same thing with swag. Swag was another one too. Take a look at it real fast. Everybody wants to buy the breakout. Nobody wants to buy, before the breakout. So swag was another one of those, right? You had big breakout, drawdown, consolidation. You could have bought anywhere's in here. And the moment you started breaking out of this low end range, and you had all this move right here. This right here was like 1,600%, right? The minute you started shifting away, you should have been out, 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 out. Yeah, buy when it's floored. Exactly. You're not buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. You're not doing that. You're not doing this. This is not worth the buy and sell. The volatility is not there. This is not worth the buy and sell. I'm just buy, breakout. Okay. Buy, breakout. Okay. And I'm looking for the big swing. Do you notice how this right here, and everybody's selling this right now, by the way. Do you notice how this right here looks very similar to this right here? We're well above the consolidation range, even with this pullback. Like this is always the problem. Everybody panics, right? Everybody panics, and then boom. Then what are you doing? Because you're selling in the consolidation range, you're buying up. Don't buy up. Don't buy up. Sell up, buy when it's flat, not buy down. Buying down to get you wrecked even more, right? Buying down will get you wrecked even more. Because all you're going to get from time to time is bounces, and likely you're not going to sell because you're thinking the bounce is going to go higher than what it is. And then you'll get a roll, right? And you'll get a bounce. You're like, all right, this one's where it's going to break out. And then what does it do? It comes up as a lower high, and then it runs down. Whales will start selling into this. They will push this thing much, much deeper. Wait until the waters are calm. Then enter the waters. That's where you always enter the waters. You don't enter the waters when the volatility sets in. You enter the waters when the water is calm. You'll make money. Okay? Trying to teach you guys a skill set versus getting wrecked consistently. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn it into a class, but I felt like those things had to be said. Because people like to look at markets and they like to evaluate them like, oh, well, Bitcoin pulls back. Okay, Bitcoin pulls back. My alt pulls back to my entry. It's not going to go lower. Bitcoin's not going to pull my alt back below here, right? It could pull it back to here, but it's not going to pull it back below here. How do I know that? Because there's been way bigger pullbacks on Bitcoin that were not able to achieve that. Bitcoin had way bigger pullbacks than a move from where we are now to 111K. Right? So if that's the case, then Bitcoin's not going to do much to this thing at all where I'm sitting at right now. I'm just going to be sitting here. So let's run the next one real quick. I remember this one. cat. Dang, there's nothing left of it? Is this 150 lick? Remember this thing was almost a mil or two. Let's run it. Let's run it. 150K liquidity. Indicators. RSI. Below the 50. Let it get above the 50. Let it get above the 50. Don't touch it till then. Granted, here's the thing. I do like charts that look like this. I do. But this can also be death, right? You need to see strength. You need to see players start to step in. Players start to step in. You'll see strength start to pick up. Strength starts to pick up. You get above the 50. You can start playing with it, even if you have to buy a little higher, right? You want to see some ripples of life. You got no ripples of life right now. You just kind of flopped, a little bit of peak and flopped. And now you're flat too. So makes me think this. I wonder if this thing's actually dead. Hold on. Let's pull up the socials real quick. July 19th, July 17th, July 15th, June 25th, June 19th. Very inconsistent as far as posting. But doesn't mean they can't revive. But Typically, I like to see consistency with the posting. Yeah, we'll see. Above the 50, that's where I'd look at that. All right, I'm running to the next one. Algo and Crow. Okay. How much time are we at? Dude, another 2-hour sesh. It's gonna be wild. I'm talking too much, teaching you guys too much versus trying to get through these charts. Algo. I do like Algo though. Solana. Let's swap out Workhorse. Workhorse, I think it's fine. I think the second you get back above here, you're good. I know this was somebody else's question. Let's run that one real quick while we're on it. And then we'll swap it out for the other one. Oh, hold on. I don't need that. What are we on weekly? Big drawdown, big bounce, rejection on the 50. That's why you're kind of chilling here. Our stochastic's a little overloaded. Big volume spike right here. Massive volume spike. Arguably the biggest volume spike this stock has seen. So there is some interest in this range. Maybe it's in these earnings right here, right? Yeah, earnings estimate minus 398, 2.3. Come on. I love when it doesn't work. Likely it's a bit into the earnings though. And then what I think is this thing is going to likely do this. Maybe draw down a little bit more and then swing, right? But that's a really big spike to just say that's going to be ignored. Put on a monthly. It's nothing down here. This is actually the low end range. Still kind of in a dangerous territory based on RSI on the monthly. But everything else looks fine. You're going to at least fill this wick. It'll give you an exit pump, if even if it's not bullish. Snapchat? I do not. I do not. Yeah, actually, I think I do. I'll have to look. If I do, I just don't use it a lot. Let's run this. Algo, ALG. Algo Rand. Look at that. I already got it charted. Look at that. All right. So uptrend, RSI, obviously, right? RSI, beautiful RSI. I love these things, man. This makes it so easy to bid stuff, and like people fade the RSI so much, and it makes it so like it tells you when volume is coming in, when strength is coming in, when a bottom is likely happening. Algo looks good. I like where this sits right now. You had a downtrend, right? So this is a bull div. That's a bull div. Here to here, here to here. That's a bull div. And now you're basically reversing back up. And like here, continue holding this trend. You get above this 50, you can really shoot up hard. This thing will likely get really far. Yeah, I think Algo looks really good. At minimum, look for these highs, right? At minimum, look for those highs. Swing into them. If you break above them, and look, my little consolidation sits right, like we're kind of like perfectly in that range. If you break above them, likely it's going to look something like this: consolidation, drop down, breakout. So that's what you'll be looking for if you can get above this. Then at that point, you'll likely hold this high, even in a bear. You'll likely hold this high right here if that ends up happening. That's my thoughts on Algo. We'll run Crow real quick, and then we'll get back to the rest of the coins that we got here. CRO, USDT. I do like Crow too. What do I have here? And that 1618 is way up there. Again, just another one, right? It's slowly picking up out of this range, heading into the 50, looking really good on the monthly. Probably looks similar on the weekly. Oh yeah, look at that weekly. Weekly same thing, grinding up to the high. Yeah, I think like you could definitely chop a little more here, but likely these things are going to move. You can see right here, I already got it all charted out. Basically, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, and you should be shifting back up. And you could already see right here, we're already starting to move back up, right? I think Crow's going to reach these highs. And Again, you break them, you can go significantly higher. You're starting to see the market though pick up as a whole. I mean, look at these altcoins. A lot of people are just really heavily focused on meme coins. A lot of these altcoins are starting to really shift out of these lows. Really heavy indication that liquidity is moving back into the space, even though a lot of people are saying it's not. And then you got vol drop right into price breakout. Likely you'll get some at some point once vol gets low enough, you'll get vol spike, which will really push price up, right? So we need to look for that vol spike. And then we got, all right, back to the memes. Oof. Yeah, we got a lot here. And you guys are really filling my plate every night, man. All right, 1.3 mil. Troll. Oh, good amount of time. I like that, man. Thank you for giving me some time on this chart. A chart with some time. A little too choppy on the daily. Death spiral into uptrend. Let's see what the weekly gives us. Nothing. All right, so daily only. So daily death spiral. Now it looks like you might be moving out of it, but you need to kind of set above this 50 really heavily. Right now you're back below it. Not a good sign. So you need to see some kind of breakout here on that. You do have vol drop, right? So you have vol drop here. Then you have relatively volume flattened out right here. So you got no real vol interest right now. But if you can get back above this 50 and hold above here, likely you'll start to see volume set in. And then what we'd like to see is from this flattening volume is some kind of vol spike. Vol spike would be a big swing, right? So you need to be in before that happens. But just wait for it to get above the 50 before you take it there. Right now you're sitting roughly around 48. So you need to just kind of break that mid-range right there and kind of push up more. This one could see some upside. It's a little risky. Not a lot of indication of a reversal here, but let's check the CA real quick. It's weird. It pulls up all this other stuff. Where is that $1 million liquidity pool? There we go. And the reason so just so you guys know, if you use the BB terminal, which I have a link in bio, you could always you always want to make sure you grab the biggest liquidity pool, right? Because this holder count will change based on liquidity pool. So if somebody has a personal liquidity pool and they hold most of the tokens, it'll make the coin look like it's a rug or something like that, right? When it may not be. Always go for the main liquidity pool. That'll give you the best possible spread on the overall token. So always look for that. Let's see here. Moving into it, I mean, we got a nice little pennant right here. It's just coming from the low pennant, maybe breakout. We'll see. Right there. This pennant kind of ended right there, and now you're kind of shifting up. But we'll see. Maybe this ends up rejecting too, because you got a lot of wicks right here with one wick here. So this could end up actually looking like a breakout and rolling. But let's run the RSI on it. Let me see this. Draw down. Wallet spread is fine. Nothing crazy. Wallet pickup as far as holders. I mean, it's slowly, gradually going up. And then let's run RSI again real quick. All right, we already talked about RSI technically, so we already know what's going on there. Need to get back up with the 50. But yeah, this is a toughie, man. I think it's gonna roll, to be honest with you. But if I end up being wrong, that's fine. Get back above the 50, it won't roll. Yeah, I think it's too risky, to be honest with you. If it were me, I'd look for a better play. Try this next one real quick. QST. Okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it in a second. ECC. Okay, 255 lick. Volume on wallet holders going up a bit. Spreads okay. Top 10, I hold a shit ton. Daily. Coin looks dead. but we'll throw it up anyway. Really big spike into a sell-off from the RSI. Yeah, below the 50. You got to flip that 50 before you can move up. Yeah, it has a good lick, but you got to get above that 50. You don't have anything to get above that. Man, lit. What a name. All right, let's check it out. Daily. Ooh, this is a tough one too, man. Look at the spread. That's nasty. Top 10 hold almost all the it's more than 50% of the token. Yeah, I wouldn't touch this, man. Not gonna lie. I don't even think it need to even open the RSI. This one doesn't look good. Doesn't look good, man. Let's look at Baron. Mm, 142. Good wallet grind. Spread looks okay. Let's run down the weekly. Brother, where you get these charts from, man? Where you get these charts from? RSI's dying. That's done. Death spiral. Yeah, that one's cooked. Unless you can get back above the 50. My God, how many more do we have here? Sorry, I'm gonna run some of the comments. Sorry, I'm making you guys wait way too long on that because I don't want to miss out on everybody here. All right, what do we got here? Starting from the top, and then I'll run down. We already talked about Crow. Easy dollar. Yeah, I think Crow could do dollar. Penguin hype. All right, let's run it. Penguin hype. Pengu. Let's see it. Big liquidity, but we want the big one. 5.5 mil. Is that it? Is that the big one? No, 9.5 mil is the big one. So whose liquidity is the 5.5 mil? Whose is that one? That's what I want to know. Hold on. Daily. Brother. Hold on. Let's see the weekly. Yeah, we got some time on this one. Nice. Not too concerned about the spread, even though it looks crazy here because they got they have like a whole breakdown for that. Good wallet grind up. Wallet's really picked up over here about July 22nd. Big wallet upside movement here. I know this looks a little crazy, but again, like the distribution, you just have to understand what they have going on with it. So you had vol drop, right? Then you had death, vol spike right here. This was your initial whales moving in. And then from here, you kind of dive back down. Your sellers sold down. And then you had basically twapping now. Now you're twapping. Let's run the RSI. Not something to chase, but if you're in it, it looks good. Weekly, still got room. You could definitely head towards the 90 range, but you are over the 50. You're heading straight up. You are going to get some TP at some point. So whether it be a slow grind up to here and then some kind of right move and then a breakout, kind of something like this, right? You're going to get something like that over here at some point, whether it be from higher or from here, something like that. But vol here looks steadily uptrend, man. I don't know who's pumping this, but that's some pretty crazy volume. They are definitely stair-stepping this volume up. Maybe they can keep it up. I don't know. But because you do have room on RSI, like I said, if they just keep pumping volume and volume doesn't fall off at some point, likely this thing can keep pushing up through the sell side. But I think at some point you're going to get some hefty profit taking on this thing. That's where I would look for entry if I were looking to chase this thing. Wait until the vol drop starts to happen. Once the vol drop starts to happen, then you can kind of hop into it. Let's see here. Look on chain status. Open, huh? Open. CRISPR. Let's look up CRISPR. Oh, CRISPR. 140K lick. D-Sci. I see you. I see you growing the verse. D-Sci. She's going for the utility. Ooh. Ooh. Let's look at ours. This chart looks rough. You got to bounce above the 50. Give me that. Let's see the weekly, though. Oh, that weekly. Oh, it's bad. And then look at this. I don't know what their breakdown is. Maybe they have tokenomics explaining this, but if they don't have tokenomics, yeah. This one looks a little rough around the edges. The crazy thing is they have wallet build up here. You can see the wallets building up month by month, which should be an indication of being able to have enough buy pressure to get off that floor, but it's just doesn't seem like it's happening. Your volume is like flat. It's almost like you had bidders, right? You had bidders, rug them. Bidders, rug them. Bidders, rug them. It's like, geez, this looks rough. Hold on, let me run the open real quick. Sorry, I know I can be a little bit talkative sometimes on these charts. Not trying to bash at all. I'm just kind of explaining what I'm saying. Let's see. Serve. Is it? Hold on. Open, right? Open serve. Is that right? Whoever wanted open. And then we'll run hype after this. Goose. Is that correct? I don't know. It was some time ago. Maybe he left. Never know. All right. Vol drop. Vol spike, but looks like it's starting to drop again. That'd be crazy if it starts to drop there. Man, I don't like this. This better be a utility token, man. Wallets are kind of steady sideways. They're not really consistent. It's a lot of wallets, too. A lot of wallets. Buy side looks good to sell side. So you got a 14-to-8 ratio. This is insane. Like, look at this. That's just nuts, man. Are you still here? All right, cool. Let's check the RSI. That's all I got. All I got is the RSI. If the RSI ain't feeling it, then it's yeah, that's a rough one, man. You're kind of playing below the 50 here. That is a rough one. You look like you were going to do something here, and then you fell back below, came back up, resisted. This could definitely come back down if they want to. This is just crazy to me, right? You're just basically hugging the floor, and you're still just dropping in price. So that part's pretty nuts. But the second you hit this, the bottom, you get a big bounce. You try to move up, and then you roll again. Let's see if we got anything on the weekly. No, nothing on the weekly. Needs more time. Wouldn't mess with it at the moment. Even with the buy side being heavily over the sell side. It's a tricky one, man. And then on the weekly, you got heavy vol drop, right? That's all you got right here. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, we did say we'll look at hype real quick, right? H. I know I got hype on here. Okay, cool. My God, look at this chart. Honestly, I think this is topping, bro. I haven't looked at anything yet. Okay, yeah. RSI is kind of signaling that too. Look, I've seen this pattern a lot. You're building long, right? You got to be really careful with charts that do this because it doesn't mean you're going to come down significantly, but you're going to get a retrace based on the build here. So likely you get a dump maybe into this range. into that range, it looks like. Because like even the RSI is kind of signaling that, the stochastic is kind of signaling that. You actually got lower highs here, right? You got actually a bit of a bear div playing out on the stochastic here, right there, right? So you got price moving up, you got stochastic moving down, you got RSI pretty flat across the board. I know a lot of people are like, oh, everybody's leverage trading on everybody's liquidated. Nobody has leverage money anymore. So it's a hard sell that it's just the leverage trades that are going to support this thing. I don't see a lot of people leverage trading right now. So you actually see very few. So likely if this right here ends up topping here, you come back to the 50, find strength and go. That 50 could just mean, you know, eventually you do something like this, do something like that, and do something like that. We'll come back and we'll revisit this in a couple weeks. We'll see how it played out. We'll leave that on there. All right. That's hype for right now. That's my thoughts. My thoughts are that hype is going to roll, hit this support range that you broke out of, basically fill the breakout, and then move off of that. Machi. Yeah, we can take a look at Machi real quick. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I'm just looking at my other comments. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. QST, yeah, we'll run QST here in a minute. IOTA 8H bar. We'll run those in just a second. Machi was the cat, right? Or am I on one today? Let me see. 10 mil on pump fund. Oh, Machi is Machi is down 10 mil on pump fund. He's getting Hunter liquidated at 0.002. Holy crap. We probably go up from there. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Let me run down here real quick. Bear div on BTC? I don't think so. Oh, you're talking about this, right? So for it to really be a bear div, what you need to see is you need to see consistency to the lows too. So typically you'll want to see that also. But yeah, I guess you could call this a bear div to a degree. But if we're going off of bear divs HTF, you know, where does it top at the end of the day? You are right in essence, but at the same time, because we're finding this floor continuously, eventually this floor will fail, right? Eventually it will fail. But for now, this is the way the market's playing. So typically the market plays to the downside, right? And then shoots up. And then you start to catch a bear div like over here. You can see it right here, where Bitcoin basically moved up and then price shot down. Where you really want to catch those bear divs is like after a big breakout. So after you get a big old breakout. This right here, if we were going off of bear divs, we would essentially say the market's been top since all the way over here, right? Because that's where a lot of people have been screaming top here. So what that would look like, we remove everything, would basically be something like this and to something like this. And also in that same essence, you would think that you're getting another swing up to this high before you get a breakdown. I mean, where would that put us? 140? Yeah, I could see it. I could see a top around like 140, 150, all the way up to like 170 as high as. So yeah, I could see a top around those ranges. Like at the end of the day, I do kind of see what you're talking about with that though. Like if they really tighten up this move here, this is basically a rising pennant, right? That you're sitting in, and eventually it's going to fail, right? That's what you would be looking for. I mean, it's the same thing with the overall chart. If we get rid of that and we come in with this, right? And we say, we look at this, this is basically a bear channel. That's what that is. It's a big old bear flag, right? And it's just like, when does the bear flag come to fruition? That's the question at the end of the day. And I would always tell people, like, remember when I said when it breaks trend, be cautious? That's where you can't necessarily call a top on this because of the way that it's structured. So you have to look for the trend break before you can think that the market's kind of topped, right? And if you look at the trend break is almost at the bottom of the bear channel, right? So once we start to fail the low, right, and drop like that, you catch your retest, you get out, and this thing kind of comes back and retraces. But until you fail your low, it's up only, right? You're just going to keep doing this, and then eventually you'll break this trend, you'll come back up, you'll retest it, and you'll roll. That's ideally what you're looking for at the end of the day when you're looking at bear news. Let's see here. Bear did one BTC. Oh, we got a contract. All right, let's run it. CA. Tonight's a little light on people. People aren't very happy with with the pullback on the market. I get it. Everybody wants to sell the top, buy the low. Except your range trading. Range trading is dangerous. Let's see. I think we talked about this one the other day. Really heavy sell volume. You can see it right there. Really heavy sell volume, the buy volume. RSI. Let's run it up. This I did not like. I do not like this. I'm going to express that a lot. RSI on the weekly, well below the 50. Not looking good. I would avoid this until we can get back above the 50. That's what I would tell you if you're interested in this asset. Just let it get above the 50 to show strength, and then you can start looking at it. Right now, you're still well below. You're sitting at like 47.98. You might be like, oh, well, this is close enough, but here's the problem. When you're playing underneath, you can reject, and you can stay underneath it forever, and then your price is never going to go anywhere. That's why you don't want to front run the RSI. Let the RSI move first, and then you could start taking positioning against the market. Let the RSI dictate the market. Again, strength is important, right? Why is strength important? Because it tells you whether you have a buy side or sell side, right? You don't get buy sides until you get above the 50, at least heavy buy side, right? You'll get light buying, but you won't get heavy buy side until you get above the 50. All right. Let me run this next one. Used car. I swear people have brought that one up. That one's been out for a while. I would imagine this coin is dead, but we'll take a look at it. 228K lick. Assuming that's the biggest liquidity pool right there. Yeah, I remember this one. Basically, chart looks pretty dead. I'm not gonna lie, that chart looks really dead. Heavy buy, low sell, 59 to 33. Let's see RSI. You just don't have any volatility, man. You need volatility. Let's run the weekly on this. Yeah, you're way below. Way below. You're actually you moved into a death spiral some time ago. And now you might be moving back out of it, but you're way too far away from the 50 to say that that's a possibility right now. Because this could just be a move back up like this that's only going to roll back down. So, yeah, I would avoid this one for now. I'm going to do a poll tomorrow. I'm like, the poll's going to say, do you guys want me to lie to you on these charts? All right, let's see here. Give me just a second. All right. Run this one up real quick. Ace. 127K lick. Heavy sell, light buy. Daily. Oh, I was gonna say, geez, that was way up there. It's not really. All right, daily. Let's see. We got a weekly for sure. RSI. Oh my gosh! Look at the way that's overextended. I can't really tell you that's a buy, bro. It looks like this little move. It took a lot to make that happen. You could definitely go up a little higher, but I don't think you're getting out of this range yet. I think you're gonna kind of hang out here. You do have a little bit of a vol ramp here, right? You could tell. But the strength indicator here is really saying you're kind of getting into that kind of overstressed territory. You still got like another 30 points before you end up kind of really in that range, which means you could probably move up a little bit higher. But like, I don't think you're going to move much higher than right around here. I think you're going to get stopped out right there. So if you're already in the play from the low, maybe take it to this high and run it, or take it where you're at right now, because you are at resistance right at this moment. But if you can break above this resistance right through here, then you can likely hit this. Well, I think it might roll here, to be honest with you. But you could start getting a reversal back up. We'll see. This one's a little tricky. You're well above the 50, but you're just way too north on that RSI. No pullback. Let's see. On each two. Let's see this one. All right. We got one more right here. An American Eagle, huh? 87K. 77K. Couple different pulls. 46K, 52K, 1.6 mil. That's the pull we're looking for. Heavy buy, light sell vol in the past 24. Let's see, daily. Nice little spindle at the low. Huh, wonder what the narrative is on this one. It's got to build long structure. My God, you're not getting that back. You're not getting that back. They're not going to let you have that. But you might better get some move on this. We'll see what the RSI looks like. Let's do weekly. Yeah, you're in rejection range. You gotta get above the 50. Death spiral too. Yeah. Be careful with this one. This could definitely start dwindling lower if they continue to reject here. Go down further. All right. So yeah, if you were above the 50, man, it would be a whole nother conversation. H-bar, IOTA. Got it. Hold on, let me back this up real quick. Look at that. Already at 115 Bitcoin. Bitcoin's ripping the market back. All right. I bet H-bar and IOTA are unfazed. How much you want to bet? Look at that. Look at that. Remember, it's going to rip the whole market back. Look at H-bar. Not even moved. Not even moved by that move on Bitcoin. Yeah, you can see right here. I already got it kind of settled. You do have a nice little uptrend here. What are we on, weekly? God, it looks nasty. It looks like a daily. You can see right there. Got a nice uptrend on RSI. Let's get rid of the. This right here is the range for right now, right? Right now we're playing the high end of the range. But like if you can get a breakout here, you can get a big move, right? So, but if you wanted to run the, that's why I put these boxes around it so people understand what they're dealing with. Now, here's the thing. You could call this a range and a swing into a range, right? And then this is a range into a swing into a range. So you could trade out of this if you bid in since the low. I would not really chase this up here because there's other assets you could chase that are down here. So I would not chase an asset that's already kind of playing the high because let's say the market ends tomorrow. My downside here is significantly worse than what it would be in something else that I bought down here, right? If the market ends tomorrow, the asset I bought down here is going to lose value, but it's not going to lose value like this is going to lose value. So I wouldn't chase those things, man. I don't call it strength in crypto. I call it traps. IOTX. This is kind of the range I want to see IOTA flip. And you can see RSI is kind of matching, right? Current message rapes. Weekly, monthly, even same signal. You got to get above this range. So you get above 3 cents, you can run it. Likely the RSI will be above 2 if that ends up happening. You can see the lows right here being created, but those don't really matter until you get above the 50 right up here. So you're just kind of hanging out where you previously hung out. That's why you're bouncing here. But what you got to see is you got to see a flip of this 50. You don't want to sit here and chop below it because then you're just going to go lower and lower and lower. All right. Give me just a second. I think my chat was frozen for a minute there. That was interesting. Chonky. Yeah, I keep on forgetting about Chonky. Flux. Yeah, we can bring Flux. Yeah, we're running Chonky right after this. Flux. My God, look at that. Look at that chart. It's nasty. I think this is the right chart. Where is this at? April. And this one over here is December 2021. April of 2021. Yeah, this one's got more time on it. April 2? Yeah, both those April. Okay. You need to be above this range for sure. Currently, you're playing below it, right? This is a rejection range. You can see it right here. You're kind of rejecting on it right now. RSI is in a death spiral on Flux. RSI is on a death spiral on Flux. No. Nope. That's on the monthly too. That's nasty. Yeah. I would say like best case scenario, let it get above the 50 on the weekly. It likely won't be there on the monthly. That's the case. But monthly looks bad. Like Flux looks like this looks like death. And you can see even the stochastic is kind of matching. Vol drop is also matching, right? So if you can't get some kind of ramp on vol here to push this back up and get some kind of reversal move here where it starts swapping this way, then this thing's cooked. If it can't do that, which means likely to come a lot further down. Let me see, Chunky. Yeah, we'll run Chunky real quick. Chunky it is. What are we at? An hour and 41. Man, I want to get to all your guys' tokens, but I don't know if I can. I'm not gonna lie. I still got a big list I gotta run through from you guys. Worst case, we'll just have to do a continuation, but you guys just have to run up the post when I put it up. All right, I think it's this bigger liquidity pool right here, 417. Holders, spreads look good. Spreads look good on Chunky. Wallets are kind of up and down. They're not really consistent. Daily. Ooh, yeah. Chunky. Chunky isn't looking very chunky anymore. Lost your trend. Fell down. I mean, this honestly, this looks like a dog right now. That's what this looks like. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it looks like a thug. Lost your trend. You can see the uptrend. Rolled, came down below. Very similar. Let's run the RSI real quick. RSI is way too low. Yeah, you got to get back up, man. You're in a death spiral. You got to get back up. It might be on its way up there right now, but I wouldn't bid this until it gets above the 50. So if it could start twapping this line and shifting back towards the upside, getting above the 50, likely it's good, because all this could mean is that you're just going to flop right back down again. It's a little tricky. IOTA USDT. All right, sure, we can pull back up. No problem. Let's see. I mean, the only issue I think I had on here was the flex chart. That one doesn't look too hot. IOTA. Was that not looking? Oh no, I looked up IOTX. My bad. Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad. Long day. All right, let's run that. Ooh. I like this, but I don't like the rejection back under. You're still under, right? You're under the 50. Are we on the we're on the monthly? Yeah, weekly is kind of similar. Very similar. So this bit of spike, kind of roll. I like these volume spikes though. Those are nice. That means you got some movement on it. You do have kind of an uptrend for me here, right? You're not in a death spiral, so you're not like down only. So you had this big move up, retrace, and now you're kind of just like trying to push back towards the 50. You haven't quite gotten there yet. You need to flip the 50 to become bullish. So you got to get above that range. But if you can get back up into here and push that 50, you should be fine. I mean, you have a pretty established low here too. If you look at it across, it's a pretty established low right there. You had vol spike, into vol drop, into vol spike, into vol drop, and you're likely looking at maybe another vol spike, right? And these vol spikes don't typically give too much, it looks like. I mean, this one's like 500%. Yeah, it's not bad. And then this one. That's why I'm telling you guys, like, when you guys get these swings, man, just take the swing. Take the swing and move on. All right? Take the swing and move on. This market's not giving enough back to not do that. 2021, it was just buy stuff and hold on. That was it. Now it's just take the swing and move on. That's how a lot of this is ending up as of lately. Unless it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can kind of hold that. So this is kind of where you're at. You need to get above the 50. You need to get above the 50 to confirm. So for now, you are building towards it. Not looking bad, but until you get above it, I would say it's a little risky. It's a little risque. DYNEX, sure thing. Pull it right up. I don't think I have that chart, so I'll pull it up this way. Assuming that's crypto. That's only DYDX. You want DYDX? Because I don't see it NEX. Or is that a meme coin? Oh, Dynex. Okay. Oh, my bad. Dude, it's one of those days. It's one of those. Hold on. Yeah, Dynex. Yeah, that's what I have here. So this one right here, social account. Oh no, this USDT. Got it. DNX. That's what the ticker is. Got it. DNX USDT. This is what you're looking for. Okay, we got 3 charts here. I'll look and see which one has the most time on it. So this one is June 22, 23. Nope, that's too new. And then this one right here is January 24. And this is June 23. All right, June 23 wins. So from what we have, RSI looks thrashed, bro. Weekly, monthly looks horrific. Weekly looks maybe bottomed, right? And that's probably why you're bouncing there. Again, I always tell you guys, like, go out the weekly more than anything. Stochastic's overheated, which means you can continue to chop low. You still have vol build up here too. Look at this. Like it's vol build the whole time, man. That's crazy. And now you're starting to kick off a little bit, come down. So you should get vol drop, and hopefully you can get some kind of reversal on the vol drop. But your RSI is not in a healthy place, man. RSI is not in a healthy place, no matter how you view this. Daily's way overheated. Weekly, way below trend. Monthly, also way below trend. I would say I would avoid this, bro. I don't know if you bought this. If you bought it, I don't know if I'd want to hold it. Might just roll into something else, but I would avoid this, man. Like this is not. It's not looking good. Zep. Hold on. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. We're at 1 hour and 57 minutes. We're at 952 viewers. We didn't quite meet the viewer count I'd like, which kind of sucks, but it's okay. It's okay because you guys still met the quota on the post. So what I'm going to do, now that we're almost 2 hours, I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream here. I hope everybody got a good measurement on the market tonight. They have a better understanding of how to view charts a little bit, and they understand the investments that they're currently in and that they were looking at. At the same time, I'll do another post tomorrow. Hopefully, yeah, I can read QSD. Hopefully, at the same time, tomorrow, right? You guys don't run the post up, and I get the day off. But if you do, then I guess we're working, right? We're working. What is QSD? All low cap. All right, let's run it. A gem is in the eye of the beholder. All right. Sin CA. How about that? Clanker, circle. All right. I'll get those ones. Clanker, circle, QST. That's it. All right. Clanker, circle. Send me Q. Okay, Q-Strom. Gotcha. There we go. Now I see it. All right, so you got a 256K lick, and then one that doesn't look like it has any lick. You have wallet increases right there at the end. Spread a little heavy on the 10%. I don't know. Maybe if this is a company, it probably doesn't really matter. Let's see, weekly. Well, I do charts, so I'm looking at the charts, and I'm giving you opinions on the charts. So consolidation, breakout, consolidation, big vol spike, vol drop, vol ramp, vol drop, likely moving into a ramp. Transactions, meh. Let's do RSI. Good buy to sell volume. So you got in the past 24 hours, good buy to sell. A little, well, that's overextended. Let's see. Let's run daily. Yeah, daily is running below the 50. Yeah, I don't know on this one. That one's a little rough. Daily is running below the 50. Weekly is running in the air all the way up here. I mean, worst case scenario or best case scenario, sideways for a while until RSI can cool down. Maybe hit the 50 bounce, right? But you have lower high structure on strength, which means that people are not really stepping in to buy based on strength. So, and it's not just this one either. There's a lot of fundamental coins that are doing this actually. But yeah, that's. I don't know. I don't know if there's a monthly here. No, no monthly. Okay, not enough time on it. It's a new project. I mean, here's the thing: you can play it, you can, have high expectations for it. But I've seen this a lot on projects, a lot, and usually they don't just continue to float up in the air. Usually, most of these end up at least coming down to the 50 on the higher time frames, right? Especially on the weekly. They'll end up coming back down to the 50. And then after they come out down to the 50, they'll either hold the 50 and they'll run, or they'll break the 50 and they'll continue to be in a death spiral to the downside, which is something you don't want to get trapped in, right? On my own time? Yeah. I mean, they may have a strong use case. I've seen a lot of projects like this, though. Let's see. Well, at least, sorry, not like this. I don't know what the project is, but I mean, like as far as the layout, single blockchain contains more complexity than all computing power on Earth. What? We're not playing the game of hard to break. We're playing the game of impossible to start. As a peace of mind that comes that matter of certainty. I mean, give me the code. I'll look at it. Right? I don't know what they mean by all these statements. Single biggest limitations: QKD limitations, last mile. Sorry about the silence there. I'm just looking to see if there's anything I can see here. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll take a look at it more later. I'm not really in the camp as much as like caring about, because like not caring about, but like I think like we always have to remember there's always going to be a new blockchain. There's always going to be the next play. There's always going to be a new meme coin. There's always going to be a new, industry breaking tech. There's always going to be a new gambling casino. There's always going to like these things come and they go, right? I would say don't get too hyped up on things that you see versus price action that you see. Price action speaks for itself. If the industry is interested, then typically price action will move in on it, right? And that's why I always stick to charts, because I always tell people, and I wrote this today in a post, I said, show me the chart and I'll tell you the news. Because that's the important part with a lot of assets is if there's news behind it, if there's interest behind it, money will move in before it runs to your ears. Yeah, I remember QANX, 100%. Yep. And I thought that was going to be, some kind of new technology, especially because I'm really big on the quantum computing side. So I thought that would be something that would actually run, and obviously that didn't pan out too well. But I think and that's again just like lessons learned, right? With this industry. This industry does a lot of talking and not enough action. And so I let people put their money where their mouth is. And if price action shows that there's interest, then I buy. 3.5 bill. Yeah, I don't even know where it's at right now. Oh, this one's at 3.5 million, you're saying, as far as market cap is. Yeah, if if the market moves in on fundamentals, you probably have a solid play here, right? The problem is I'm not seeing a lot of the market move in on fundamentals. That's the issue I'm seeing. I've seen it this whole cycle. I'm hoping the market moves to fundamentals at some point, but just not seeing it. At least at the moment. I hope we're in like 2019 moving, or sorry, 2020 moving into 2021. That's what I hope. But you know, likely this is we got to always remember that this part of the cycle right here, we're in the 4th year. Yeah, if we get E strength for sure. Yeah, I think if we get E strength, that's what I'm looking for. But I can't call that until ETH actually breaks that high. It needs to break that high. That's the tough part right now. Is ETH is really struggling to really do much. I mean, that's not struggling now. I think it's a lot stronger right now, but I don't want to be the person who's calling, you know, alt season without that breakout. I need that confirmation, because all you do when you do that is you just get people wrecked, and I don't want to wreck people. Clicker looks good. RSI daily, kind of playing, you know, threading the line there a little bit, but weekly looks good. I don't know if you got a monthly RSI on this thing. Nope, not enough time for monthly. Weekly looks good though. Above you do have vol drop. You got vol drop, which is good because you want to move vol drop into vol ramp. So you'll get a ramp over here at some point. Holders look okay. Spread looks good. Wallets consistently moving up. Sell side's a little heavy to buy side, but that's only in the past 24 hours. It's about I'd say 2/3 to, you know, or yeah, 2/3 to 1/3 basically buy to sell vol. So this one's not bad. This one looks good. Clinker looks fine. And then I think there was one more you had. Circle. Oh, you want the real circle, right? Not the meme one. I'm assuming, correct? Drew. All right, we're gonna run with the real circle. How did I know? Oh man. He said no, the meme one. Yeah, I got you. Got you. All right. This one, right here. Just a circle. Oh man. I don't know. For a second there, I thought you were just moving in on the good side because you're like, oh, I want the fundamental coin, and then you threw in the meme in the mix. All right, let's do the daily. Man, that's spike, man. I kind of like these because you tend to fill them. Doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but you tend to. Spread looks good. Wallet increase is kind of wild. It is moving up pretty heavily. You got a lot of wallets in here. Holy crap. Yeah, that's a ton of wallets. Buy to sell. Buy is heavier than the sell. And then you're obviously getting some retrace right now. Let's run the RSI. Just want the coins that make me money. Death spiral. Look, I try, man. I tried. You are above the 50. But so if this starts like trading directionally, like say you come out here and bounce and start twapping this way, then likely this thing will go back up, right? But you do have the death spiral, but you are above the 50. So again, just this might take a little while. You're going to get a retrace. Let the retrace happen. And then if you likely bring you back down to here, if you can hold the trend up though, you're good to go. Stay above the 50 on the bounce and you're good. Yeah, you were sweating the spiral, but liked above the 50. Yeah, this is kind of a double-edged sword play for sure. It's you know, if this then that. You break back below that 50, you're gonna get cooked. You stay above the 50, you're good. No problem. All right, we're gonna cut it here now. All right, We're cutting. I gotta get dinner tonight. But thank you all for showing up. I appreciate all of you. It looks like we got up to 1,044 tonight. Half the amount the past other nights. I know that people probably get bored of seeing the same thing every night, but like, bring new charts, right? If you're bored of seeing the same things, bring new charts. That's what I would tell a lot of you. If I missed your charts, I greatly apologize. I've been running for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Please forgive me. And we'll try it again. If we run up the post tomorrow, throw your stuff under there. Be on the post before everybody else, so you can put what charts you want to see, and I'll definitely be able to get to you. If you're at the bottom of the post, there's not a lot I can do about that, right? Not like I'll try to get to you, but it doesn't mean I'll get to everybody. But I'll definitely try. And the people that show up to live, I'll definitely always get to you guys too, because you guys are here, supporting me on live. So I'll try to help you all out in the same aspect. Again, I appreciate you all showing up. I hope you all have a great night. And I'll see you tomorrow if you can run up the post.